All right, so we will get started here right at 12 because we have enough people to get going, and I'm sure some other people will be joining and they can jump in. And just for people that are new to Zoom, in some cases, it's good to mute your microphone if you see how to do that, especially if there's some background noise, because if you don't, then Zoom will think you're the speaker. And so that's actually a really good thing to do. And Thalia's about to come in. So as soon as she joins, we'll go ahead and get started. So I see, looks like 14 people. Hi, Dan. Good morning.
Hey.
Actually, it's afternoon now. It's just 12 noon. So, hey, Thalia, welcome. All right, so Dan and Thalia, we're going to go ahead and get started. And we're going to do an icebreaker question. And the idea for the new people is we want to know what's motivating you to network. So you can tell us about your business or cause, or maybe you're just here for social reasons, which is also fine. And we do that in the form of an icebreaker question. And thank you, Pastor Moss, for providing the icebreaker today, which is tell us about a restaurant.
I can't even fucking hear.
Hello? Let's see. So tell us about a restaurant that the restaurant that you would like to visit as soon as the lockdown is lifted. So do I have any volunteers to go first? Please. How do you pronounce your name? Himanshu, please.
May I start now?
Yes, please do. Thank you.
First restaurant I'd like to go is to Raglan to enjoy their black bean burger. That's one of my favorite.
Awesome. And what do you do? Why are you networking with us?
I'm a massage therapist, also a chef. I run two companies independently. One is Arc Yoga and Massage, and another one is Hari Curry SD. That's my catering company. And Carter knows me through email. I have spoken to him last year with help with his renting his kitchen, possibly, So, and I'm a massage therapist, and I teach yoga one-on-one session at my business.
Awesome. Well, welcome. So, Tuan, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'm with Max Auto, which is an auto repair shop here in OB. Been here for 11 years, I think even 12 years or something. So we are open, but we are a little bit by appointment only at this time. The other new business that I have is called Avotopia, you see on the screen. And that's this little thing. See that? So what we do is we have a 25-acre of avocado farm in northern San Diego, and we're gonna do farm-to-table operations. So a lot of them gonna be wholesales. We sell to packing house, but we also do delivery to residents. And so we pack up in boxes and we drop at their mailbox, and we take money online. So that's kind of a big things going on right now with the group. So we have delivery, we have packers that we can do our own network customer. Anyway, so restaurant, Tarukoro is my favorite Japanese restaurant, and I haven't been eating there for like 2 months. So if it's open, I'm gonna go there and eat some sushi.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you jumped on the call today. And Dr. Neha, can I call on you next?
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Neha, and I am a chiropractor in Ocean Beach. I am actually open right now because chiropractors are considered essential. So, anyone that's suffering low back pain or upper back or just working from home, everyone's just really stiff and tight. And I'm available for, anybody that needs any chiropractic care. And new to Ocean Beach, and one of the restaurants that I really want to check out once this is over is Obi Noodle House, because I heard it's amazing, and the ambiance looks really fun too, and I can't wait just to, sit with everybody and enjoy food and drinks and have a good time in Ocean Beach, getting to know people.
Awesome. So Roger, I'm going to call on you, and the icebreaker question, you may have figured it out. I saw you just jumped on, is what restaurant do you think you might go to once the lockdown has completed?
That's Hey Mana. That's the one I've.
Oh, your sound's breaking up just a little bit. Okay. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Roger.
Okay. My name is Roger Wire, and I'm an intuitive guide and shaman. And I'm going to head back to Taymana because I really like that place.
Awesome. All right, Dan Dennison, you're in the hot seat. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about a restaurant that you've been missing?
Yeah, my name's Dan, and Toto's sitting on my lap if you see her, a little dog. My career's been in real estate development, but now that I'm back in San Diego, or grew up, I'm doing real estate marketing and sales. And I think that in terms of restaurants, hard to say, there's so many great ones, but I think I probably would go to Raglan also.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to mute everyone's microphones just to cut down on some of the background noise. And hopefully I didn't mute my own. Okay, and then let's see. I'm just going to go through. So Abby, let me unmute you, and please introduce yourself. Whoops, unmute. Trying to unmute.
Last week for a news story because I work at CBS 8, but I've lived in OB. March 25th was 3 years since I moved here, so I'm still new to the area, according to many. But one of our favorite things to do on the weekends is kind of cruise around OB when it's especially a nice day. So I'd like to start out brunch at the Surf Lodge. Then I'd like to head up to Kilowatt for a drink. Maybe head up to the holding company's rooftop for another drink, and then go back down to Blue Water for some tacos.
Wow, that's awesome. I love all those places. All right, so Charles Stivers, I believe it's pronounced. I'm going to unmute you. Would you like to introduce yourself to the group?
Sure, yes. And thank you so much for having me. Wanted to jump on and meet the group. My name is Charles, and I was born here in San Diego, actually La Mesa, so I'm native. I'm 60 years old, and not sure what restaurant I might go to, not so concerned about that, but I have been in direct sales or home-based business, what most people know of as network marketing, and I've been in one company for 25 years. I started when I was 35 years old. And as you know, people have a lot of mixed emotions about the industry or everything. Most of that time I've been retired because, you know, if these things work, they can be quite fantastic. I've kind of jumped back in, and now with what we're going through now, I really kind of felt an overwhelming urge to explain to people how easy this industry can be and to build right from your home. You know, I work with an international group that has learned that if you go out and push products on your family and friends, you'll struggle to make money. But if you teach them to build compensation plan, the money will pour out on the group like you've never seen before. A company I've been involved with is called USANA, USANA. It's an international company. It's 28 years old. I've been with them for 25 of those years, and a billion-dollar company. And I guess what I do is I teach people that network marketing isn't a bad or a scary thing. It can be absolutely incredible, and it's a residual income. So I would be more than willing to share more on that, but But outside of that, that's who I am. And that's what I do. I've only done two things in my whole life. I was born into a construction family. We built homes all across San Diego County. And I did that up until I was 35 and realized that that was a horrible way to make money. We were all contractors, and I'd already been through one recession in my lifetime. It pretty much wiped me out at 30. But now it seems like with my crazy network marketing business, only the second thing I've ever done, will be the fourth recession that I seem to be just sliding right through with nothing has changed in my life. And so I felt it really important at this time to reach out and to teach people how easily something like that can be done.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the group. I don't mean to cut you off, but we got to keep moving. So thank you for sharing. And I'm going to call next on Mark if he'd like to share.
Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Mark Resendez, and I have been in San Diego County for the last 40-something years and seen a lot. And what I do is I do life insurance, health insurance, and I also help people get out of debt, not just consolidate it, but actually pay it off so you'll be out of debt. And what I like about insurance is because you sit there, you help people you really get to know, and you put a plan into place and help make sure that they're in a better place than you find them. And so there's a lot of times where I've gone through and they go, your insurance is good, and I'm not going to sit there and put something in there just to put something in there. It'd be nice, but it's not right. And I've been in, and I used to live in Point Loma, but then it got too expensive. And so I moved back. And I guess my first restaurant would go to the Kona Kai and have a nice meal there and watch all the boats. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome to the group. And so Lenora, let me unmute you. And why won't it let me do that?
I had muted myself also. Hey,
okay.
everybody. I'm Lenora Lostenow. I'm your local realtor and marketing professional. I am definitely regular status at Pack Shores and OB Sushi, so I'll probably hit up both of those one after the other, no order of preference. Yeah, just here to network, just partly to stay in touch with everybody. I'm super happy to see everybody's faces that I probably would not normally see during this quarantine time. Here's my CEO right here. And yeah, I'm just here to help you all out with any kind of superfluous marketing initiative that you have. If you need help doing a message, video marketing is a great way to reach out to your client base. Just let them know that you're still doing business, or that you can help them in some way, or that you're just here when, you know, this is going to be done. And also staying on top of changes in the real estate market as we ebb and flow. Definitely interest rates are very low. There's opportunity for people who were in a good position before this happened. And we're also really trying to get ahead of helping people with secondary homes and properties that might want to get out of those situations when this time fully transitions. But if you need any help with any of those things or know somebody who does, I am here and ready to help. Nice to see everybody.
Awesome. Thanks for being on the call. And so Mike Mauger, let me unmute you if.
All right. Hi.
Hello.
Mike Mauger, independent insurance broker. I help with personal lines, as in your home, auto, umbrella, and then business insurance. And we obviously know there's a lot of questions right now. Right now, insurance has been in the front of kind of the White House talk, what's going to happen. So every day it's kind of something new, and I think we're all dealing with it in different ways with our industries. But for me, our little family Saturday morning tradition is New Break. A couple times a month we go there and then walk the beach. So I can't wait to get back there for some coffee and breakfast burritos.
Awesome. It's really good to see you. So Nate Church, let me unmute you. And how are you doing today, Nate?
I'm just going to go down.
Doing good. Good to see you, Chuck. Welcome, everybody. Nate Church, run on Facebook. Didn't realize how long it is. I've been coming every Tuesday. So it's been quite a while. First place I'll probably go once everything reopens, even though they're open to go, I miss just going and hanging out there. It's probably Coronado Brewing off of Marina, to go there to get a pizza and some beer.
Awesome. I love that place too. So Thalia, how are you today? Let me see if I can figure out this unmute. There we go.
Hi, everybody. Doing great. My name is Thalia, and I do web design. I also do branding, graphic design, brand strategy. I work primarily with nonprofits and small businesses. And the place I would go, for those of you who are OB long-timers, there used to be a place called Rancho's, and the employees eventually ended up, Hugo in particular, ended up taking over the restaurant after it had shut down, and broke my heart. And they reopened as Hugo's Cochina and on Sunset Cliffs. And I would go there because the people that work there have worked there for so many years, and they're like a family when I walk in. It's like going into Cheers, like everybody knows knows you when you walk in. And I just love the atmosphere, the environment. And I love Mexican food, and I used to do the bi-coastal where I lived New York, San Diego, and I always miss when I was in New York having Mexican food, specifically verde enchiladas from Hugo's. So I'd have a verde enchilada and a margarita and be good to go. So look forward to that.
Oh my God, I'm so hungry right now. It's nice to see you. So Cynthia, let me see if I can unmute you. How are you, Cynthia?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. I was trying to figure out how to put what I do into like a few words. I've been a serial entrepreneur, and my career has gone between science, design, food, and technology. I do a lot with Persian rugs. I'm an expert in that field, and then like flooring design. But of course, with this, I'm not doing much of that. I work for or with a website company that we do, anything in website design. And I'm a writer, so I finished a book draft, and I'm working on another one. The next one's going to be a cookbook, actually. I think all this focusing on food has made me think about my personal journey. I have lupus, and I've been eating autoimmune boosting diet for 10 years. And I thought, I was speaking to a friend, and they thought during this time would be a great time to work on the cookbook. I couldn't decide between Newsbreak or Livingston's in OB that I would go to if I got back. I'm a coffee person, but unfortunately, Livingston has great fried chicken.
Awesome. Those are all great places. So Marissa, let me see if I can unmute you. How are you today? It's nice to see you.
Good. How are you, Chuck?
Good.
Good. So I am OB local for the last 5 years. I came here to go to UCSD. I did bioengineering and neuroscience. I've worked a few industry jobs and specialized in neuroscience applications. And I also am a local tutor. So I have been moved to doing completely online classes. In addition, I also do some consulting work. For instance, right now I'm doing 3D models for a group, psychedelic research group that I met here at the OB networking group. And so, yeah, I'm looking to build my tutoring business. So if you know anyone who needs a science or math tutor, let me know. And the place that I would like to go is probably OB Brewery. I think it's one of the best views in town, and they have some great beers and delicious food and wonderful staff.
Awesome. They really do have a nice view on that third floor. So Ellen, let me see if I can unmute you. And how are you today?
I'm great, Jack. Thank you. So I'm Ellen Burrow with Hill Consulting. So I work, mostly provide some consultant work around healthcare for the homeless programs, but I also do trauma-informed care training for the staff of those that work with the homeless. And there's a lot of new staff that didn't sign up to work with the homeless, but because we're seeing so many more out in our community, and then also resiliency in our own lives. Especially the older we get, the more experiences we have, and more likely we've experienced some trauma. We're all experiencing trauma right now. And so how to be resilient and come back from that. One thing I can offer to this group immediately, I realize, is I've had a few people reach out to me about different resources that are available for our neighbors or for ourselves. So if you know anyone who wants help with getting their SDG e-bill taken care of, looking where food is, or looking where they can volunteer and help, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to do that. And as far as the first restaurant, I would just get on my bike down to OB as fast as I could and go wherever the shortest line is. I have a lot of favorites.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And so let me see if I can unmute Matt. Hey, Matt. Nice to see you. How are you?
Chuck, good to see you, man. I'm doing well, enjoying the quarantine here. I would probably, I've been going to Tilted Stick and Surf Ride or Pizza for the takeout. But to actually go sit down somewhere and eat, probably THC. I never ate there. I kind of miss that. And then OB Brewery, one of those two places. But I know that THC was having some good shows and stuff. I went to a couple of them, but I'm kind of missing the things I didn't do, instead of the things that I did. Because there's so many things I always planned to go do and never did. And so that's going to be top of my list. I'm a real estate agent. I work in OB Point Loma primarily. I help people all over town. I've got a qualification to do first-time home buyers if any of y'all are interested. And then if you're planning to sell within the next couple of years, now's probably a good time. It's also a good time to buy because prices are just going to keep going up. All that federal money they gave out is going to cause tremendous inflation within about the next 5 years. So probably a good time to buy. And if you're going to sell, I would do it now. I would not wait a year because I think there's going to be a little bit of a dip before there's a rise. Anyway, thank you guys.
Awesome. And so Kathleen, it's nice to see you. How are you today?
Good. Did you unmute me? Am I unmuted?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. My name's Kathleen Listen. I'm a certified lymphedema therapist and board certified massage therapist. I help people at studio in Pacific Beach after liposuction, tummy tucks, Brazilian butt lifts, and facelifts. So we are out of business as long as the shelter in place order is, active. The good news for me is I have an appointment to take my antibody test next Monday. So hopefully if I do have the antibodies when we do open up, I'll be able to be one of the healthcare people that will hopefully start working. And it's kind of like this whole like Wayne Gretzky approach, I think, to opening up for some of us. Like you have to skate to where you think the puck's gonna be. And I think it probably will be, if you have an antibody test positive, then you could probably get to interact with the public in a greater way as a healthcare professional. That's not just for us. But the good thing for me is I started work last year on being an approved provider to do some internet classes. And that has really worked out. I have a lot of students online that are coming from all over America to take classes to kind of do what I do in my practice. As soon as I open up, my favorite restaurant is Oceana inside the Catamaran. We go there for anniversaries, we go there for birthdays, we go there for like beer, and they have an excellent like chocolate brownie cake that they cook, and it's very hot, and it's like dueling spoons with my husband to try to get as many portions as possible of that little brownie cake. So that would definitely be the first restaurant I would go to.
Sorry about that. I had myself on mute because the neighbor's dog was barking. Let me shut the window. But did I skip anyone? Did anyone not have a chance to share before? If you didn't have a chance to share, raise your hand. I think everyone had an opportunity. So thank you guys so much for attending. And so Carter, thank you for speaking today. I'm going to mute all the microphones and then unmute you. So let's try that.
I think me.
Oh, did we miss somebody? Someone was just speaking up. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get to.
Sorry,
oh,
no, go ahead.
Erica. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh,
You're here first. You don't get to talk. No, I'm kidding.
please.
Yeah, just real quick, because I heard some things that I really want to talk about. So my name's Erica Hooper. I'm actually not an OB. I'm in UTC. I hope I can crash your guys' party. But I'm a network marketer and affiliate marketer. And really, I kind of just want to talk about how I got into this just real quick, because I know there's so many of you who have in this situation where businesses are low, or you're trying to generate, leads in business. And that's actually why I moved everything online. And one thing I do is help people to do that online. I've got some real estate agents. That's actually how I got started, was teaching them how to generate their own leads. And I was a loan officer for many years, generating leads and closing them and helping the agents close them. But then everything that I was learning could just be transferred to any online business. So that is what I have moved to, is showing people how to do social media marketing for whatever business, whether it's a network marketing company. Who was it? Charles, man, love it. Great industry, especially right now. I'm having my biggest month. I hope you are too, if you're coming back. But there's some others like Cynthia. You've got a great story with your lupus for 10 years. Man, the cookbook is just step one. Like, there's so much you can do online with that. So anyway, I'm glad to meet all you guys, and I hope I can bring some value to this group for you guys too. So that's all. Okay.
Awesome. Oh, I apologize again. Is there anyone else that I missed? So I wanted to encourage you guys also to drop your contact information, maybe your email address, into the chat line. And what I will do is I will save that chat history and post it on the Facebook group. So if there's someone that you wanted to connect with that you saw in the icebreaker, you'd be able to shoot them an email. So let me go ahead and mute everyone's microphone, and then I'm going to unmute Pastor Moss. So let's give this a try.
All right. Hopefully you can hear me. Cool. Hey, thanks everybody for being here. I'm Carter Moss. I'll drop my info in there. Yeah, I guess I'll start with restaurant real quick. For me, man, it's so hard to pick. I love them all, but I would say Wonderland. I just want to go do a sunset toast with everybody and just have the view. And they got some great appetizers and stuff. So, but yeah, awesome to be with you. I've been in the networking group off and on for the last several years. So really appreciate Chuck and Cece getting this thing going. It really helped me meet people in OB when I moved here 6 years ago. Haven't always been able to make it work in my schedule with other stuff, but just always love staying connected to it. So appreciate you guys that have been here a long time, longer than me, and those that are brand new. Awesome to have you. Just real quick on me, I got my degree in software development, so I did that for like 9 years. A lot of database software for like auto dealerships and then like churches and nonprofits. Isn't that the two ends of the spectrum, car dealerships and churches? Oh. And I've also been like a music journalist, just kind of writing reviews and all that kind of stuff, kind of a writer, written on leadership stuff and gotten to speak on leadership stuff some. Also like trying my hand at stand-up comedy. So people usually say don't quit your day job, but try to do that sometimes, different open mics and stuff. 15 years ago, though, I switched careers. I went from sitting alone in my cubicle behind the computer doing software to now I'm around people all the time. Became a pastor. It came with a slight pay cut, a little bit, but luckily my wife is on board with it, though. She supported it. No, just something I had thought about doing actually since college, and just faith's important to me, and I just love trying to show people how it can just be relevant to really kind of any area of life. But anyway, so yeah, I've been doing that in Chicago and now here in OB last 6 years. Basically helped start New Break Church here in OB. No relation to New Break Coffee. I wish we did. I'd love to partner with those guys, and I actually go there often, but we're not connected formally. So yeah, we're at Cape May and Ebers. We're the one with the big mural on it, and you can come get one of these stickers, little VW bus. We just like to give those out free and stuff. But yeah, we are part of a network of a few other churches. There's some other locations. If you ever have left the OB bubble, you might see we have one in like PB and Tirisana, a couple places. But I'm at the coolest one because it's an OB. So no, I've loved it, love this town, and just love being a part of it this year. And so thanks for letting me speak today. I try to really share something. Don't worry, I'm not going to take up an offering. I'm not going to preach at you. I try to just share stuff that I hope is valuable skills, because I love leadership stuff, love networking, and really like learning from everybody else. I asked Chuck, I'm like, man, I'm torn because I know like the virus is at the forefront of everything, but on the other hand, are we also sometimes burn out on hearing about it and just like I want to think about something different? So today isn't super like how to cope with the virus. It's more just like leadership, life skill in general. But I'm always open to talk if you want to process stuff on the virus. By the way, since we can't do our church thing on Sundays, I've had to be like everybody else, kind of shut down really all the gatherings we do all week. And I'm just trying to do different online stuff. So some on Sundays. I do a little Facebook Live every night at 7 if you're interested. But anyway, that's my last plug. Yeah, I just want to talk about something I hope is helpful to your business life, your personal life. It comes from this fascinating, I don't know if you have a favorite survey. That's kind of a nerdy thing to have. But a favorite poll or survey. The Gallup people, you know, they do most of the most famous kind of polls and surveys out there. They did one on recently, what's the single greatest source of stress in your life? And I would think it would come back for most people as like work or health stuff or money stuff. I don't know if in-laws was like on the survey or not as an option, but actually what came back as the number one cause of single greatest source of stress for people was, they said it like this: when there's a discrepancy between what we say matters most and how we live out what matters most. Right. So just this idea of, you know, not accomplishing the things that we'd always hoped to, or not being the kind of people that we wanted to be. If you've ever said, yeah, let's just go, I've always wanted to learn, or yeah, I really always meant to get together for dinner with those people. Or just like, wow, this is just not where I thought I'd be at this point in my life, either relationship-wise or work-wise or whatever, then maybe you've experienced some of that. I guess our society sort of has a word for that when your values don't match up with how you're living. A little harsh, but we use the word hypocrite, right? And that's really what that word means at the core is, hey, your walk isn't matching your talk. You say you're about these things, you're not living like it. Of course, the opposite of that is, you know, authenticity. I think that's I'll assume that most of us, or all of us here, want to live authentically, live out the things that it's important to us. I think that's part of what makes OB so awesome, right? Part of why it's such a cool, unique place is that it really is, for the most part, people trying to just be real and be themselves, and everybody embracing that. I know a lot of you are already doing that. You're actually pursuing the things you're passionate about. That's what's cool in the networking group, is you really hear a lot of people that have just made things happen. So good job. You may be doing already a lot of this. It's great. So you can share tips with us later. But I hope some of this is helpful to you. If you've ever had like I still have never gotten around to doing this or that, or I'm still just not, maybe it's not just accomplishments, but maybe you're like, I'm just not like the person yet that I really wanted to be. I know I'm not there yet. So hope some of this helpful. Just want to talk about two things, just kind of two practical ways to do that. I know it's a really big topic, but just two practical things. The first one, no surprise. Obviously, it's about priorities, right? How do we determine priorities? How do we live them out? I don't know if you've ever heard this saying, but I think it's spot on. And so it's a good reminder for me that the decisions you make determine the schedule that you keep, and the schedule you keep determines the life that you live, and how you live your life determines how you spend your soul, I guess is one way to put it. So that's so true, right? That if you really want to see what's important, I mean, I could sit here and tell you, here's all the things I'm super into and really, really important to me. But really, you could just come look at my Google Calendar. You'd be like, I don't know, Carter, this is what it looks like is important to you, right? I mean, that's where we can see how it lines up. your bank account tells the other half of the story of what are the things that you value, but our calendar does so much. And so it's all about scheduling that. Maybe you've heard this, Stephen Covey. I recommend anything by him. Awesome stuff on leadership, great business leader. He said the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Maybe you've heard that. It's one of those like Yoda-like sayings where you're like, I think that's smart, but do I really know what it means? And right, but it's just that idea of, I have to really like schedule intentionally what my priorities are. In other words, really live proactively. Otherwise, we just live very reactively. And I know there's seasons where I do that. I feel like, man, I'm just reacting to everything happening. Obviously, right now we're in a tough season where we all had to react. It was hard to be proactive, but reminds me of like the dog in the movie Up. Like he's focused, but then it's like squirrel everywhere, and that's how we end up living. And then that's why we can get to whatever age and get to, whoa, how come I never got around to the things I always thought were important? So we really got to be proactive. I've heard this phrase, and I use it sometimes on Sundays and stuff, but this idea that we don't tend to drift into good directions. So I don't know if you've ever thought of that idea, but we don't really drift into good directions. I don't know if anybody would hear say, yeah, I don't know what happened. I just accidentally drifted into this amazing career. I just didn't have to work or try. It just happened. Like that doesn't happen that often. I get that once in a while opportunities fall into your lap, but but to really get it and live it, we don't drift there. You don't tend to drift into, wow, I accidentally ended up in this amazing marriage and I just never had to work at it. You don't just drift into becoming just all of a sudden an incredible parent. So, it's really intentionality, right? So that idea of that we have to schedule our priorities, not just prioritize our schedule. The most powerful visual I've ever seen of that, and you can try it on your own. I should have brought one today and done like science lab, but you can do, if you just take like a big jar and you have a bunch of big rocks, you have some little rocks, you have some gravel, and they will all fit in there. But order does matter. If you try to put all the gravel in first and then all the little rocks, you won't fit the big rocks in. But you can take the same thing and you put the biggest rocks in first, fill it in with little rocks around it, the gravel around it, and it will all fit into the jar. And it's that idea of, I got to schedule what are my big rocks. Right? Because otherwise there's just not going to be room for them in my schedule or with my energy, with my time. So it's just that idea. I don't think we argue with that. I mean, we're all like, well, yeah, of course, I want to schedule, my priorities. So the question is, why is it so hard, right? I mean, why is it so hard? I think it's because so many things are always competing with us. We got so many little rocks trying to get in there, so many little rocks, and just so many priorities. I got a bunch of priorities, and then other people have priorities for me. The hard part is the stuff that's kind of trying to take away from our priorities, our schedule. It's not all bad stuff. So here's where I hope this is helpful, even if you've heard some of the other stuff before, that it's not about just doing good things. So that's what I wrestle with, because, I'm always like dangerously close to burnout if I'm not careful. So that's just why I've tried to study this stuff. And honestly, I can argue that, well, yeah, I mean, all the stuff I'm doing good, it's all good. It's for the community, it's for the church, it's to help people, it's to help my family. And the other thing Stephen Covey says is, he says the enemy of the best is often the good. And so that's just something that I've had to learn. It's not just about, am I doing a bunch of good things? It's what's the best stuff. So I guess the other book I would point you towards, it's a book called The Best Yes. The Best Yes. I can't remember the author right now, but she says it like this: whenever you say yes to something, there is less of you for something else. So make sure your yes is worth the less. And so that was just kind of like eye-opening to me. Like, man, everything I'm saying yes to, because I really like to lead with a yes with people, I realize, but I'm saying no to other stuff, right? So what am I saying no to? And is it the stuff I wanted to say no to? I guess the opposite, how not to live that out. since you need movies to watch in quarantine time, is you can go watch Yes Man with Jim Carrey, because it's pretty funny. It's silly, but it's funny. And he literally just said yes to everything. And of course, you see how it doesn't really work out. So, you realize that if I'm just living reactively, just kind of saying yes to everything, then I do end up living like the Gallup poll said. Like I said, these things are important in my life, but that's not how I'm living. So how do we pick the best yes, is what it comes down to. So first, you got to determine what your priorities really are. I'm guessing most of you know them, but if you've never thought about it, it's a good exercise, right? What's the top 3 things that you really want your life to be about, maybe the top 5 things, and not just saying, family, work, health, but, what, like what in family, like what do you want? What's the most important thing for you in family? What's the most important thing in work? Is it, and it's not that some priorities are bad ones. I mean, that you can have all sorts of different versions of what successful looks like for you, but it's deciding what is that, right? And what is it just with health? Is it just keep myself alive, or is it, kind of what level of health? So, once I know priorities, then I decide what's the best yes. And one of the things that's going to try to compete the most is other people's priorities. I've heard this before. If I don't tell my time where to go, other people are happy to do so for me. So I think that's pretty true. So again, if I'm not living intentionally and scheduling my priorities, other people will try to interrupt with theirs all the time. If you struggle with saying no, some of you don't, you're great at it. And comes natural to you. I'm envious of you. Some of you struggle. It's really hard to say no. I've had to work on that a lot. There's a great book. I'll give you another good book. Great psychiatrist who wrote it. It's called Boundaries. So let's look it up, Boundaries. Now there's a whole line of books about it. Boundaries for kids and boundaries for marriage. You can't go wrong. It's probably the most recommended book when it comes to that. But it's the idea of, I own my stuff and you own your stuff, and learning how to say no when I need to, because no is one of the healthiest things that you can say. Even from business perspective, by the way, I like reading Seth Godin. He's one of the best guys speaking and writing on marketing stuff. And he has a short little book where, now all of a sudden I forgot the name, but he talks about this idea. He says, this whole thing that you always hear that winners never quit, he's like, totally not true. So winners quit all the time. Winners know how to quit the right things at the right time. And I thought that was so helpful. Winners quit the right thing at the right time. So they know how to say no, right? So you can say the best yes. You learn how to say no. You learn how to say not yet to things, just not in this season. So for me, I've had to apply that in lots of ways. Well, I said yes to Chuck today for speaking, even with other things going on, but it fits my priorities. I want to be someone who I hope is one of the valuable voices in OB. I want to be connected to people. So, so prioritizing. My wife and I decided earlier this year, like, man, we're always saying that there's people we mean to get together for dinner with or whatever. So we decided to schedule, and now it has to be on hold, unfortunately, but we were doing it. We're once a month, invite like 3 couples over, do just like mini dinner party. And it might be couples that kind of know each other, don't really at all, but that way they meet. So it accomplishes networking, but then we get to just connect with them. And so doing that, another big value for me is learning. And so I'm always reading, probably 2 or 3 books at a time. But I've had to say no to a lot of stuff. I really want to you can actually take stand-up comedy classes around San Diego. And man, every semester I'm like, I really want to go do that. It's like, just not yet, just not in this season. I have 3 kids, they're teenagers, and only 1 left in the house, 2 are in college. So I'm like, wait a little longer, because I've always tried to keep them as priority. Couple book ideas I've had. Love to do way more Bobby leagues. I just do some beach volleyball, but haven't had time yet. So for me, it's a not yet, right? Because I gotta do the best yes. But this applies, of course, if you lead a business or organization too, is you have to constantly decide, right? What are we going to focus on? And so like for me as a church, one of our priorities was, hey, we're really going to be active in the community and try to serve. And so we are, and we've won a couple awards and stuff for that. But that's meant that I say no to other things. And people come to me all the time like, hey, your church should offer this. Do you offer this? Well, not yet, not right now. Don't have the manpower right now. We're focusing on, just trying to really bless our community and serve. So anyway, it applies on all that. Second one, this will be shorter, is second key to this is learning more about your favorite subject, which is yourself. So we all love to study ourselves. I don't know if you have taken any of those Facebook quizzes. If you hadn't before, I mean, you got time to kill now, right? Which, like, Harry Potter house are you? Which Breaking Bad character? Which Disney princess? I'm Ariel, by the way, if anybody cared. But, you know, those I don't know if they're totally helping discovering how you're actually wired up, but they can be fun. But I'm a huge believer in a lot of the tests and stuff that are out there to help you. I'm sure you've done some that I haven't. I have actually never done Myers-Briggs. That's one of the big ones. But here's 3 that I'll just personally recommend. The DISC is one, D-I-S-C, the DISC. That's a lot about leadership style. We have everybody take that before we hire them here. But that's just been a really helpful one, kind of 4 different, what's your style? Second one would be, and this has gotten really popular the last couple of years, is Enneagram. So you can look up Enneagram, a lot of podcasts and books on it. The book I read about it's called The Road Back to You, but it talks about 9 different types, so it can get more specific than just the 4 from DISC. And it does the angle more of how do you kind of tend to deal with stress? How do you approach people and how do you approach stress? So I have found that one super valuable. I love talking about it with people. Third would be, it's a little more old school again, but Strengths Finder. If you've never done Strengths Finder, I think it's renamed Clifton Strengths now, and they still do it where I think you have to buy the book or you can take it online, but you still have to pay for it. Enneagram and DISC, you can find a few free ones online. But Strengths Finder, it's that idea of focusing more on your strengths and not just trying to overcome your weakness. That's like a certain philosophy, you know, that you can read about in leadership and in business world. And not everybody agrees with that, but I think it makes a lot of sense. I love the idea of Shaquille O'Neal, basketball player, of Shaq. He was terrible at free throws, and shooting coaches would work with him. He even tried granny shots for a while and could never do it. He finally had a shooting coach who said, you know what, give up on free throws, dude. You're always going to suck at them. But if you'll work on your skills as a center, you know, the big, tall inside guy, I think you can be one of the best who ever played. So let's work on your strengths and just kind of forget about the weakness. And so he did, and he did go on to become that. So anyway, just that idea of, rather than always overcoming weaknesses, which is what I've spent a lot of time on because my weaknesses drive me crazy. So instead, try to focus on what are my strengths and what if just kind of become more even amazing at those. So anyway, I encourage you, I challenge you to discover more and more how you're wired up. I found that's helped me a lot at work. I think it can help you a lot at work. Even are you in the right line of work and the right position where you're at? How you can help with tasks even beyond that. You know, if you're in an office, you're just like, how come I'm the only one who ever thinks about when it's people's birthdays and I'm the only one that organizes it? That can switch to, I'm going to do that because that's how I'm wired. I think that way all the time. Right, so it can kind of change. It can help in marriage. I'll just say, been married 23 years. Huge help. My wife and I always wish we'd taken all these earlier on in marriage because it's helped so much to learn better. Kind of like, I know when like telemarketers come to, or when, you know, marketing people come to the door, I actually send her to the door. She handles them because she's way better at the just like firm no and kind of doing that kind of stuff. Other times, though, if the siblings are fighting, I'm good at the peacemaker and navigating conflict. So then she'll send me in, you know, so you can kind of just discover a lot about how you're wired up. Has been so helpful in marriage. I think it could help in your extended family too. Again, you know, we all have messy families. You got to navigate a lot of stuff. And again, if I'm like, you know, how come everybody calls me when they're having a conflict? And that can switch to, hey, you know, I am the peacemaker. Like on the Enneagram, I'm a number 9, and that is the peacemaker. They like to bring 2 sides together. And so for me, even though I'm usually a conflict avoider, I've learned how to enter into it so I can help people be a peacemaker. And obviously I try to do that community-wide too. And it can just help in your neighborhood too, right? If you're just like, man, nobody else thinks about organizing barbecues, I'm the only one. Maybe because you're gifted that way and you're wired to do it, right? So I think it can just help us embrace that stuff and step into it. And then that helps us to become more who we want to be. And so as I wrap up, that's where we started, right? Is how do I live more authentically to the things I wanted to be about? And I think that comes from, I got to know my priorities and then be intentional with them. And then I have to actually know how I'm wired up, because otherwise I could spend my whole life doing stuff that didn't really ever fit who I was. And then I think we do live with that stress, as the Gallup poll said, and honestly, probably with a lot of regret as well. So just being way more intentional, learning how to decide the best yes. And I'll just close by saying I'm not perfect at it for sure. Still working on this a ton. A lot of times I don't get it right. But I will say, being on the other side of some of the journeys I've been on, it's worth it. It's worked. For me, I've really tried to prioritize my kids for sure. And now as they're leaving the house, which I'm sad about, but I'm so grateful. Again, I wasn't a perfect parent, but I'm like, man, I have almost no regrets of stuff I wish I would have done, because I've really tried to keep that at the priority. And that changed even our schedules and even how we decided to do school and all that stuff. And same with, becoming a pastor. It took a lot of steps for 10 years as a software person so that I could, make a radical change like that. And even, what I've hoped our church would become an OB. Again, we're not done yet, but I'm glad where it's going. I wanted to be a place that's valuable in the community, and I think we're becoming that. But all that stuff had just been being intentional and saying no to a lot, so I can try to say the best yes to other stuff. So that's what I got. I hope at least some pieces of that helpful for you. And yeah, thanks.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Carter. I want to unmute everyone. Let's all clap and cheer. Ready? Here we go.
Oh,
all right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hey, Erica, I'll shoot you an email.
You don't need a clap about it. What the heck?
I'm going to go ahead and mute off. I got the weed whacker going out there.
So if you guys have questions for Carter, you can post them in the chat. Carter, if you can stick around and answer any questions. And then other than that, I'd like to open it up to if anyone has an ask for the group. For example, I know Cynthia, I was speaking with her earlier. She was looking for someone that could guide her towards getting a book published. So I have an ask also. I'm looking for future speakers in the networking group. So if anyone is looking for something or has an ask, we do have about 9 minutes before 1 o'clock. So I'm going to unmute and you guys can jump in or type something on the chat line.
Whoever lets me the book published, I have a girlfriend who's just pitched one to Hay House. So I don't know how she did it, but you message me.
Well, I had a publisher for a manuscript. If it's a coffee table book about Persian rugs, it's taken 10 years to do. With the quarantine, I finally got it. Been working with my publisher for 2 years, sent the manuscript, and they said, we're not taking manuscripts at this time. So right now, I looked up online, like the top 13 people that do coffee table books, send it out to a lot of friends that are like collectors to help me edit. So now I'm just waiting to see who I could put that one in. And then I'm starting the next one. So yeah, thank you. So if you can find an email or somebody for me to talk to, I would appreciate it.
Got it. Yeah, coffee table books, I don't know about that. Sorry.
Well, it's part poetry, part pictures, part story about all the people that weave rugs. Okay? The other book's about healing, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to thank you for letting me be part of your Zoom meeting. I'll be sure to join in again. Just wanted to say thank you, and everyone be safe, and hopefully this passes on us soon and we all get back to normal. Thank you so very much for letting me take part.
Thanks for coming out. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all. And I would love to be a guest speaker in the future.
Okay, fantastic. Did you take down my email address? It's
no, but I will. I'll look for it there, and I put my
Endermans in the Nether. I tell you that there's Endermans. There's always Endermans.
So there was some background noise. I just muted everyone. I will put my email address in, and it's chuckhardwick@gmail.com. You can shoot me an email and we'll get you on the schedule to speak. So let me see if anyone else has an ask. You can, let's see if there's anything else in the chat. Let me unmute and someone can just jump in perhaps.
You said Chuck Hardwick, your name there at Gmail, correct?
Yes, that's
Thank
right.
you. I'll shoot you an email. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's see. Does anyone else want a couple minutes just to talk about any topic at all? We've got, it's 12:54. We got a few minutes. And you guys don't have to stay on the call. If you have to go or you're getting hungry, we understand, but you're welcome to stay on. And I'll leave this Zoom call open for as long as you guys want to continue chatting.
This meeting is great. I think we can continue to do this even after we got on lockdown.
I agree.
We can do it everywhere, and we don't have to go. We'll meet at some place.
Yep.
I think it's very convenient.
I agree as well. I've been on plenty of Zoom calls through the years and all the other ones, and you guys have put a great call together.
Well, thank you.
Maybe,
Yeah, I'm glad you guys
maybe
are
once every 2 months or so, we get a social get together where we can actually see each other and have a beers or two. But for meeting, I think online is great.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you.
Miss you guys.
Miss you too, Tuan. Thank you for coming out today.
Thank you. I'm sitting at my office now.
Save me some avocados.
Yeah.
I will send you some avocados.
Okay.
And you're gonna put my post on the Facebook page.
You have to pay now, Chuck. It's a business. You have to pay.
Well, thank
I'll
you
trade
all.
you for a website. Thank you.
Good to
for
see
coming.
y'all.
And the thing is, I appreciate the online version. I can always make it. The in-person sometimes is tough for me. So thank you. It's great to get to know even more of you. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you,
See you next
Cynthia.
week.
Thanks, Evan.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
As you know, you guys know that I have the 2 tables from Timana. Those are historical tables that we've been sitting on for the last few years.
You bought them from Taimana?
Yeah, I got them because I like them. So
The picnic tables that were on the side?
2 picnic table, yes.
So is Taimana, is it closed now for good? Or
I think so. I think they said it's closed out for good.
That's a
Well,
shame.
when we did our live shot in front of there last night, the guy had come out and he put the sign out there for us because obviously they're closed. And so he said that they plan to reopen, obviously when this is all over, but he was pretty devastated. But we just said, we were here to share the love, and this is where the OB networking group usually meets. And it was really cute how he put the sign out on the fence for us so we could have it in the background.
Oh, that was nice.
If
Yeah, I
they
hope they
reopen
can
and want the table back, I will donate.
I hope they reopen. I really miss Taimana.
Yeah, I know he misses you guys too.
Sound good. Hey, Mike, you got great haircut. Look at that.
Yeah, me and my kid both got mohawks. Yeah,
I got something to
we're
do,
making the
right?
best of this time.
Awesome. I chat with you later on the insurance on the forum.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, bye
Signing off,
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.